Hey, my name is Aaron Burke. Welcome to Made for More. We are a leadership podcast that releases new content every single first Wednesday of the month. And I hope this content helps you. Do me a favor. If you haven't liked our YouTube channel, make sure you do that. It's Radiant Tampa's YouTube channel. That's where we drop this content. And you can also share it. Obviously, we're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcast. Anywhere podcasts are at, we are there. And every time you leave a review or you share it on your Instagram, it helps more people learn about it. So thanks for doing that for me. Today is an episode that I am so pumped about. I have been working on this content for the last month or two, and I'm really excited about it. And here's the title. I'm going to give you some leadership lessons from President Zelensky. Leadership lessons from President Zelensky. Now, if you're listening to this years in the future, you might be asking yourself a question: who is President Zelensky? All right, right now, he is currently a major hero of our time. Now, let me just say this. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know his character. I don't know what's going to come out in the future about him. I'm only going off of what I've seen the last 2 months. So let me give you a little history lesson of what happened in 2022. In February of 2022, Russia invaded Ukraine. The world has been outraged about it. And everybody thought Ukraine was going to fall in the matter of days. Like this was going to be an overthrow of the government. Russia was going to take it over. And so what happened is they invade on February the 24th. It's terrible. We're all watching the news and watching the missiles fly. And then February the 25th, the next day, the rumors start flying. The president of Ukraine, who, by the way, his history a little bit, he was this comedian who actually played a president on TV in Ukraine. He ends up then doing such a good job. People are like, you should actually run for president. Runs for president, gets elected, and is this young leader. And so people think this guy has left. So the rumors are that he's left the country, that he's gone. In Russia, they start spreading the misinformation. Zelensky's left. We're overthrowing the government, and they are going to be victorious in this. Well, then there's this moment that Zelensky takes his phone. He goes out in the city square as the country's under attack. And you can find this video. And it's President Zelensky. It's most of the leaders of the country. They're standing there, and it's just an iPhone video of him standing there, videoing him. And he's basically saying this phrase that, listen, we're still here. Hey, you see this Secretary of Defense or this leader of this part of the government. We're here. We're here. We're here. My kids, I've watched this video with my kids because he says the word toot, which means here. It's like, Zelensky toot, I'm here. And he has this whole moment that he says, we're here. We're not leaving. When people think we're gone, we're actually in the middle of it. And then he has this most epic quote of our generation that I want you to know about. And I'm saying this because we have not seen this kind of leader, at least in my lifetime. We don't have the Churchill and the Gandhi and these kind of leaders, the Mandelas, that even the Roosevelts that came up and just were epic leaders that put everything on the line. We haven't known that. We know movies of those kind of people, but we've never seen it in our lifetime live until this guy, the day after the war starts, he gets in the middle of the town and says, listen, I'm here to stay. So then here's what happens. All right. The next day, bombs are flying. It's terrible. I will never forget it because my brother actually sent me a video, and it's got the whole sky being lit up by all these bombs hitting Ukraine. And he said, in this text, my brother's like, Ukraine's going to fall in any minute. It's all over. And this guy gets up on television, the president of Ukraine, President Zelensky, and he tells about how the fact that the United States has offered him an ability to leave the country. We will get you out of the country. And he tells the United States this epic line that I'll never forget it. He says, I need ammunition, not a ride. I need ammunition, not a ride. And how hardcore is that? Think of the strength to say, listen, stop trying to get me out of this thing. I'm going to be here for my people. Give me some help. And so now we're over 2 months into this conflict. And the craziest thing has happened. The country has not fallen. Actually, in many ways, people think that Ukraine has won the first 2 months of this war. They kept them from invading the capital, from some of the biggest cities. Now, Russia has taken over a part of the south of the country, and it's been terrible. They think tens of thousands of people have died. It's horrific. Millions of refugees. The situation is horrible. But there's something to show about Zelensky's leadership that I think every leader needs to know. So I'm going to give you 3 lessons a couple months into this thing that we can all learn from President Zelensky. Here's what I've realized that is making him so attractive as a leader, such a boss as a leader, a hero in our lifetime. What is it? Here's 3 things. Number 1 is that people want a leader that can relate. Let me say that again. People want a leader that can relate. The days of the leader sitting in an ivory tower somewhere, or in some office somewhere, or some executive office somewhere, and not getting their hands dirty, not feeling the pain of what they're going through is over. We don't want to serve somebody or work for somebody who doesn't feel the pain that we are going through. And Zelensky stayed in the battle. I mean, his own family, they would ask him about his family, and he would say statements like, I haven't seen my kids in weeks. What was he saying? Hey, I'm experiencing what all of my people are experiencing right now. Listen, that doesn't mean we can't have moments of celebration. When your people are celebrating, you celebrate. When your people are suffering, you suffer along with them. Ted Cruz realized this a year or so ago in Texas when he's a senator in Texas, when they had a major ice storm that goes through Texas. I mean, froze part of the state. They had water shortages and the power was going out. And this guy's in Cancun. Now, no shame on him. I'm sure he had the family vacation booked. But the fact is, it's nobody wants to follow a leader. And he got roasted for this thing. Nobody wants to follow a leader who is not relating to their current pain. Let me say it this way. Your level of authority is connected to your level of authenticity. Your level of authority is connected to your level of authenticity. So people want to see a leader that's authentic. They're feeling pain. What did Zelensky do? You watch him in these videos. He looks unshaven. His eyes have bags under him. This guy's not putting makeup on to get in front of a camera and getting all, in a suit and tie. He's wore the same kind of green shirt for months now in front of the camera. What is he doing? He's telling people, I'm relating to your pain. He's not streaming in from some 5-star resort in Europe somewhere going, hey, I know you guys are suffering in Ukraine, but I'm over here. I'm taking care of business over here in Spain right now. No. When your people are suffering, you get in the fight with them. They want to know that you can relate to them, that you're a real human being. And Zelensky showed us how crucial this is during this time. Find ways that you can relate to your people. Let me say it this way. Nobody wants to work for the person that's always the hero, that's always got it together. Show how you struggle at times. One of the best preaching advices that was given to me for all the pastors that are listening is don't always preach with your life acting like it's got it all together. Like, oh, I've got this issue taken care of. I've got it all solved. No, some of the best communicators out there today, it's this self-deprecating. It's this idea of going, man, I'm struggling. I'm barely getting by also. People need to know that you're a human. One of the best at this in the world, I think, is Joyce Meyer. She is a preacher. She's been preaching for a long time, longer than I've been alive. And when she communicates, it's so interesting because she'll talk about offense. And she's not giving some story about how she was offended 30 years ago. She's giving a story how she dealt with offense like last week. And man, I just couldn't get over how this happened to me at the grocery store. And I'm sitting there going, this is so relatable. This is a person that I want to listen to. Be a leader that is relatable, that knows what people are dealing with. Know how much gas is right now. People are dealing with that, okay? Know how much a gallon of milk is. If you can't connect with the average person, you are out of touch. And gone are the days where people respect out of touch leaders. So everybody wants to follow a leader that can relate. Here's the second one. People want a leader that keeps them informed. People want a leader that'll keep them informed. This was a brilliant move on Zelensky's part. When Russia's attacking and trying to close them all off, Zelensky goes to social media and he talks right to the people. He actually had multiple moments talking right to the people of Russia. Why? Because his job was to be a consistent voice in the midst of chaos. Leaders have to be more available during times of crisis. When you're in a time of crisis, don't speak less, speak more. When COVID happened, right when the pandemic broke out, we were making it a point that every week we're going to be in front of our congregation. We did it twice a week for the first month or two. We're going to do a prayer night on Wednesday night, and we're going to do a Sunday service on Sunday morning. Even though we're not meeting in person, we're going to stay in front of the people. Why? People need leadership in times of crisis. So good leaders keep people informed. Zelensky, at least 2 months in, every night has had a video press conference. Every single night. What is he doing? He's keeping his people informed. He's telling them where the attacks are going, what's happening with food, what the humanitarian situation is like. He's going above and beyond. You could say, well, I pay people to do that. They can talk to the employees for me. Let me tell you, when you're at a place where leadership is needed, you need to step up and be the person to over communicate. I would always rather over communicate than under communicate. People will not follow a leader that keeps them wondering. Let me say that again. People will not follow a leader that keeps them wondering. Let them be straight with them. Keep them informed. Let them know how they're doing. Let them know what's happening. I've realized that when I let people in on what's going on, they want to be in on what's going on. Let me say that again. When I let them in on what's going on, they want to be in on what's going on. So you want to create buy-in. Well, if you want to create buy-in, let them hear what's happening. And your job as a leader is to constantly keep your people informed. Keep them updated on what is happening and watch how more people will follow you because you're a leader that's not keeping them wondering. Zelensky has done an incredible job at this, speaking right to the people. Here's the third one, and I need you to hear this one because not only do people want a leader that they can relate to, they want a leader that can keep them informed, but thirdly, people want a leader that fights for them. And Zelensky has done this incredibly. During this whole time, just so you know a little bit of the history, it's that basically the world has left Ukraine to fight Russia on their own. Why? They've done that because if the world gets involved, if any other country gets involved, then this turns into World War III. And you might be listening to this in the future and you go, well, Aaron, you had no clue. It actually ended up turning into World War III. That's a bummer. But right now, it's not turned into World War III because no other country is involved. If NATO got involved, then this would be an all-out war that probably would turn nuclear very quickly. So this has been Ukraine, a small country fighting Russia, this giant. It's a David and Goliath situation. So here's what Zelensky did. Zelensky not only addressed his people to relate to them, to keep them informed, but then he went outside of his people and went to the nations of the world. And I have seen time and time again interview with Zelensky. He's addressing the United Nations. He's addressing the British Parliament. He's addressing the joint chambers of the House and Senate in the United States. He is addressing countries all over the world. Why? He is appealing on behalf of his people. He's not appealing for himself. Don't get me out of this. Don't help me, help my people. They asked him one time, who is the hero that you look up to? Since everybody's calling you a hero, who is your hero? And he said this, my heroes are the people of Ukraine. What is he doing? He's fighting on behalf of his people. Everybody wants a leader that will fight for them. So stop fighting with your people and start fighting for your people. And when you start fighting for them, here's what they're going to do. They're going to have loyalty to you, and they'll work harder than you can ever imagine because you're on their side. So what is Zelensky doing? He's fighting to get them more ammunition, more humanitarian aid, more awareness of the atrocities that Russia is performing. He's taking it on as his job to stand on behalf of his people. No wonder he's a hero for people. And if you want to be a leader like this, a leader like Churchill, a leader like Gandhi, here's what you got to learn to do. You got to learn to start fighting on behalf of other people. Stand up for them. How do we make this practical? Be in their corner. Fight for good benefits for them. Fight for their marriage. Help them take some time off. When I know somebody is loyal to me, guess what? I become loyal to them. I had one of our staff members in my office the other day and came in, and it looked like their benefits were going to be messed up with a new plan, and they want to have another child, and they want to grow their family, and they just came in with tears in their eyes because the HR department did what they were supposed to do. They rolled out the plan, the benefits that they get in this new quarter. And they're like, this is just really going to affect me. And I looked right across at this staff member and I said, listen, I'm in your corner. I will handle it. I will get it taken care of. Don't worry about it. And I walked out of my office, walked into the business office, and solved the problem. What is that going to create? Loyalty. And that's why, because people want a leader that will fight for them. That's what Zelensky has done. Be in their corner. Celebrate how you can help their family, how you can help their kids. Do something for them, not for your selfishness sake, but for the fact that it's the right thing to do. I don't know about you. In a world of so many toxic, narcissistic, weird leaders, it's a breath of fresh air to see a President Zelensky, to see someone who is working hard to say, listen, I'm relatable. I know what you're going through because I'm going through it too. He keeps the people informed. He's working overtime on sharing the vision. And then thirdly, he is working to fight on their behalf. That's a leader worth following. And I believe it's many of you guys and how you'll lead your business, how you'll lead your team, how you'll lead your church. You'll just apply those three things. You'll be a leader worth following also. I hope this episode has helped you. Send me some information on how we can continue to make this better. Give me a DM on Instagram or tag me on Instagram. I'd love to share it. And I'd love to see how we're continually helping you become more of what God has called you to be as a leader. We look forward to seeing you next month and Made for More. This is Aaron Burke. Have a great day.